What if the person who hurt you the most is also the one teaching you the most powerful lesson of your life? Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back. I'm Esther, coming to you from Switzerland. Today's episode is personal, raw, and still a little tender. But the lessons that are still arriving, those are the ones most worth sharing. So let's go. 2 days ago, I called my father. He's 91 years old, a mathematician, a deeply intellectual man. He lives in an elderly home now since my mom passed away, because he couldn't live alone in their big house anymore. I hadn't called him in weeks, and he knew it. The moment he picked up, the blaming started. He blamed me for not calling. He blamed me for the way I left at my last visit, and I sat there on the other end of the phone with my heart quietly shrinking back to a place I know far too well. I was the one asking questions. How are you settling in? Who do you sit with at meals? Do you like the food? I was showing up, even on that phone call, with care and curiosity, and he gave none of it back. Not one question about me, not about my health, not about my sons. His only questions were accusations. 30 minutes, I gave warmth, I received blame. The one question he did ask, the only one, was whether I had spoken to my brother. After 30 minutes, I told him quietly, I want to stop this conversation now. And I hung up. I sat in the silence after that call for some time, because this wasn't new. This has been the pattern my whole life, since I was 14 years old, fighting with my father. Since he appointed himself my therapist and told me to bring him my problems, and then used those problems against me. And earlier this year, he told me something that broke me in a way I hadn't expected at 63 years old. He told me he thought I was mentally ill, and that he had believed this for a long time. The wound a parent can open, no other person on earth can open quite the same way. I stopped visiting, I stopped calling, not out of cruelty, out of survival. Because when my mother was in the hospital, I called him every single day. I made that drive more than 2 hours every week to sit with him, to be at his side for his final years. I wanted to be there for him with a full, open heart. And yet, here we are. And if you want to know more of this story, the full, deep, layered story of growing up in this family, it is all in my book. It's called Living Without Fear. You can find it on Amazon in English and in German, because that story deserves more space than one episode can hold. So here's something I want you to know about my father. In 91 years of life, he has never apologized, not once. not to me, not that I can remember. And yet I forgave him every single time. I always went back. I always opened a new chapter. I always tried again. Not because I was weak, but because I understood somewhere deep in my heart that it wasn't really his fault. He never did the inner work. He never healed from his own family, his own upbringing, the generations of pain that were handed to him without anyone ever naming them. He didn't know what he was carrying, and so he carried it, and sometimes he put it down on me. You can understand someone completely and still not be willing to be their punching bag. These two things can be true at the same time. I want you to really hear that. Empathy and boundaries are not opposites. They are not in conflict. You can hold a person in your heart with compassion, understanding where they come from, seeing their wounds, and at the same time say, "This is not okay. I will not accept this. I deserve better than this." That is not cruelty. That is self-respect. And I am learning at 63 years old with a 91-year-old father that is never ever too late to learn this. So let me tell you what I'm going to do differently. The next time I call my father, I will tell him clearly, we can have a respectful relationship. I will call you, I will visit you, I want to be in your life. And when you say hurtful things, when you speak to me with cruelty or blame, I will end the conversation every single time without anger, without drama, without guilt. I will simply say, "This is not okay, and I'm going to go now." A boundary is not a wall. It is a door with a lock that only you control. For so much of my life, I believed that love meant staying, that loyalty meant enduring, that being a good daughter meant absorbing whatever came at me and not flinching. But I have learned slowly, painfully, beautifully that love without self-respect is not love. It is disappearance. It is the slow erasure of yourself in service of someone else's comfort. And I don't owe that to anyone, not even my father. I do not owe peace of mind to someone who is not respecting me. Full stop. And neither do you. Now, here's where I want to shift something, because I don't want this episode to be about pain alone. I want to talk about what my father is teaching me, because, and this took me a long time to see, he's teaching me something profound. Through every fight, through every hurtful word, through every phone call that left me feeling small, he is making me stronger. He is showing me exactly where my edges are, where I still shrink, where I still go quiet when I should speak up, where I still carry that old story, the one that says, maybe they're right about me, maybe I am the problem. The people who push us to our edges are often our greatest teachers, even when they never meant to be. I spent most of my life with a quiet, exhausting background noise in my mind whenever I thought of my parents, a feeling that I was somehow bad, that I was the difficult one, the problem. Do you know how much energy that takes? Carrying that story for decades. And now, at 63, I'm putting it down. Not because the hurt is gone, it isn't, but because I can finally see it clearly. My father's words about me are not the truth about me. They are the truth about his pain, his limitations, his unhealed heart. I'm not mentally ill. I'm a woman who feels deeply, loves fiercely, and is finally learning to protect that. And this is where it gets bigger than just me and my father, because I have two sons and they are watching. They are watching how their mother handles being hurt by someone she loves. They are watching whether she stays silent or speaks up, whether she disappears or holds her ground, whether she teaches them through her own life that you can love someone and still protect yourself from them. The patterns we break in ourselves, we do not pass on to our children. My parents couldn't learn this. Their parents before them couldn't either. Generation after generation, the same wounds passed forward like a gift no one wanted, but everyone received. But that chain can be broken. It can be broken by one person in one generation, and it doesn't require perfection. It doesn't require that everything be healed and resolved and tidy. It just requires one moment of choosing differently, one conversation where you speak up instead of going quiet, one phone call where you end it with dignity instead of absorbing the hurt, one day where you choose your peace over someone else's comfort. I am that person in my family. I'm choosing to be. And maybe if you're listening to this, you are too. Maybe you are the one in your family who breaks the pattern, who finally says, this stops with me, not in anger, not in bitterness, but in quiet, fierce, loving determination. I want to close with this. I would never have imagined that at 63 years old, I would still be learning this lesson, that a 91-year-old man could still have the power to make me feel small. But here is what I also know. He still has the power to make me grow. It is never too late to change a pattern, never too late to speak up, never too late to decide that you deserve respect from a partner, from a friend, from a colleague, from your own parent. It is never too late to choose yourself. Not in a selfish way, not in a way that closes your heart to others, but in the way that says, I matter too. My peace matters. My well-being matters. And the people in my life, whoever they are, whatever they mean to me, they are not allowed to take that from me. Every step you take out of those old patterns, every moment you choose differently, even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect, serves you, and it serves every person who comes after you. Your children, their children, the whole line of people who will never have to carry what you choose to put down. Healing is not just for you. It echoes forward through time. So, wherever you are in your own story with a difficult parent, a difficult relationship, a pattern you're trying to break, I see you. I'm right there with you. Still learning, still growing, still choosing, one conversation at a time. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for trusting me with your time and for letting me trust you with this part of my story. I'm Esther, your host, coming to you from Switzerland, where the mountains teach you every single day that standing firm and staying rooted is not stubbornness, it is strength. If today's episode touched something in you, please share it. Send it to someone who is in the middle of their own difficult relationship and needs to hear that they are not alone, that they are not bad, that they have the right to peace. And if you want to go deeper into this story, into the roots of growing up in a family where love and hurt lived so close together, my book, Living Without Fear, is waiting for you on Amazon, in English and in German. It is the full story, the honest one. And before I let you go, I want to offer you something that comes straight from my heart. If this episode stirred something in you, if there is a relationship in your life that is costing you your peace, if there is a boundary you've been meaning to draw but don't quite know how, if there is a version of yourself you keep glimpsing, freer, calmer, more at home in yourself, and you don't know how to get there, I want to invite you to a free coaching session with me. Just the two of us. No pressure, no script, just a real, honest conversation about where you are, what you're carrying, and what your very next step might look like. This is the work I love most, sitting with someone across from a screen, across from life, and helping them see what they cannot yet see about themselves, helping them feel, maybe for the first time, that their peace is not a luxury. It is their birthright. You were not born to be walked on. You were born to be free. All you have to do is reach out. The link is in the show notes. I would be so honored to walk this next step with you. Until next Thursday, protect your peace, speak your truth, and know that it is never, never too late to choose yourself. With all my love, Esther from Switzerland for the world.